I've created some window trim curves on this layer, and you can see them here. And I'm going to use these to show you the trim divide function on this window area. So I don't need to see the polygon car or the roof surfaces. And I'll start by using the project tool. And because I'm already in this orthographic left view, I can just choose the view direction. And also check it's creating curves on surface. So I'll pick the surface, say go, and then drag select all of the curves and say project. And I can now use pick curve on surface to see that it's created those okay. So I'll just turn the projecting curves off, and then I'll do the trim. But this time I'm going to select each separate part. And instead of saying keep, I'm going to say divide. And what that's done is created 4 separate surfaces, all of which can get shaded up in different colours. Now that can be really useful, but one of the limitations is that the construction history doesn't work with these duplicated surfaces. So if I turn these CVs on and I modify the curve, then the trimmed surfaces don't update. And another problem is that if I decide I want to undo that, and I pick all of those surfaces and do an untrim, then what it's actually done is taken 4 copies of that surface and untrimmed them. So I've inadvertently got these extra copies. Now the lowest number will be the original, so I can carefully pick the others and delete them to get back to where I started from. And you can see that I've still got the construction history here on this one. And I'll probably leave this untrimmed for now, as I'll be using this long edge to build surfaces from in the next section. So that's all on trim divide. But if you're interested in how I did the curves, I'll go through that now. I just got started with some simple edit point curves. And I'll give this one a little bit of curvature at the end, just to bring this up here. But for the rear curve, then I'll want it to be related to that back curve. So I'll do an offset again. And I'll just bring it down roughly to the right area. And I'll probably need to use the curve stretch tool again to get it into the right place. And I don't want to compress that too much because I want to keep the same character. And that looks okay. So the only new tool that I've used is to create these fillets here. So over on the Curve Edit palette, underneath Duplicate, there's a Curve Fillet tool. And this asks me to select the primary curve. So I'll pick this one, and then the secondary curve. And it creates a fillet which is defaulted to 100 millimeters. And I can adjust that to maybe 150, or maybe 125. And then when I'm happy with it, I can just say accept. But if I come over to this side and try to do a fillet, then I get the message that the fillet has failed. And the reason for that is because I offset this curve from the rear one. And so it's out here on the side. Whereas the lower line is on the center line. And they need to be in the same plane for the fillet to work. So I can fix this by turning the CVs on and then going into the back view and doing a move, and I'm going to go horizontally to the center grid. And that then flattens the curve, but it keeps the shape in the side view. So now the 2 curves are in the same plane, then the Curve Fillet tool should work. So all that's left is to just put the curves in for the B-pillar. So use trim to keep, discard or divide, but just be careful about the duplicate surfaces with the divide option.